Episode 55, Isaac Ben Shekel. At an earlier episode, I told the story about a Jew, a rabbi in Krakow, and I told it rather badly. I'd like to retell it, please. In 2001, I was at the ANY Book Festival and had time to speak personally to Paul Coelho. He'd written a book called The Alchemist, which was very, very much based on this story. And I challenged him because the treasure that Isaac Ben Shekel found in his house was real treasure, money. And I think that's totally against the tradition of the story. The Hasidic story is not materialistic. It's a spiritual tradition. Anyway, I'll tell it better this time. There was this Jew, a rabbi in Krakow, and he was unhappy. The reason was he felt he somehow missed out on life, although he had a lovely congregation in the synagogue and a loving wife and children. But he had this dream 3 times that if he could go to a distant city, the city of Prague, he would find a great treasure. And he had the dream once, and a second time, and a third time. And after 3 times, he could no longer ignore it. So he packed up, left his wife and congregation, and travelled for some 6 weeks, it was, to go to the Czech Republic, or whatever it was called at that time. He arrived in Prague late at night and went down under the bridge where in the dream it said the treasure was. But while he was looking there under the bridge, the soldiers who were guarding it to the royal palace captured him and brought him to the captain of the guard. Isaac was very scared and frightened and said, "Please, sir, just let me go home. I'm just a simple rabbi. I just came here." "Why did you come here?" "Well, I came because I had a dream, the same dream 3 times, that there was a treasure under the bridge if I go and find it there." He said, "You silly man," said the captain. "You travel all this way, weeks on end, for a dream. I too have had a dream that if I were to travel to Krakow, to the house of a rabbi called Isaac Ben Shekel, and would go there behind his fireplace, I would find a great treasure. But I ignore it, it's just a stupid dream." "Well, please let me go then," said Isaac. "I won't trouble you any more. Go back to where you belong, silly man." So Isaac rushed back in half the time, raced into his house, looked behind the fireplace, and there he found his great treasure. I would like to feel in the Hasidic tradition that what he found there was his youngest and sickliest child, his real treasure, the family. I challenged Paul Coelho about this, and he said, "Well, people expect it to be money." I said, "But the treasure doesn't have to be money. It could be something far, far more important, like discovering his family and the needs they have for him as a loving father." Blessings on you and those you love. Patrick.